What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is WrestleSense. I'm your boy, Blaze McCoy. And as I like to say in a lot of my LTD streams, strap it in, strap it on, strap it up, strap it down. Whatever floats your boat, people, whatever makes you happy. Get ready for a wild and wacky show today. I guarantee it. And I want to thank everyone for popping in already. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, share the stream out to everybody that you know, and let's get this party started here. We got Wally in the house. Wally, good to see you, Wally, as always. PFW's in the building. Great to see you, Tito. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. The Goddess of Pain. Welcome to the goddess herself. Good to see you, huh? JW Calver in the building, dropping the emojis. Thank you. I appreciate you. The members of the channel hanging out. Some douchebag named Easy E is here. I don't know what the hell who that is. Go have some fun with yourself. Demon Joker's in the building. Good to see you. And Cody Hagan as well. Daniel Barry's in the building. Celebrating them champs, man. You got to love it. Hey, well, tonight we have a couple different things to cover. We're going to talk about how the big picker came from last week's Elimination Chamber and No Surrender. We're going to try to make some sense of some headlines in wrestling today. Talk about some Hall of Fames. Talk about some celebrities in wrestling and just have a little fun like we always do. We could all easily sit here and just recap everything that happened on all the shows this week. But we want to do something a little bit out of the box. We did a Wrestler Spotlight last week. We've been doing greatest tag teams, stables, history of steel cages, all kind of wild stuff like that. Tonight, a little more of a chill stream. We're going to sit back and just talk shop as we head down the road to WrestleMania. You know what that means. That means a lot of these companies are going to have big shows coming up very soon for WrestleMania weekend. So we're looking to amp up and ramp up here the next couple weeks and prepare ourselves for a whole bunch of great shows. We have Revolution on March 6th in AEW, the Crockett Cup March 19th and 20th in NWA, Supercard of Honor April 1st for ROH's return, and April 2nd and 3rd WrestleMania 38. So we got a lot of great wrestling shows coming up. We got a lot of big news. People already popping off in the chat. Figured they would because news gets around so fast anymore here in the wrestling world. The internet wrestling community, as people say, really likes to spread the word. And sometimes that we talked about that last time with surprises and the hype that's built up around it. Could it be too much, not enough, or overkill sometimes? And we just deal with it. And like most of the guys here on the podcast, we don't favor one or the other company. We may like one or the other here and there, but we really like to just enjoy the fact that it's a really good time to be a wrestling fan. So many choices, so many different things popping up, and even more every time I do some research, find a different company or different stars that are about to be made here in the world of professional wrestling. Big shout out to Crush and Kelly in the building. Great to see you. Jester's in the house as well. Well, thank all the members and everybody hanging out here tonight. I'll be live immediately after this for some more Leaning Towards Death wrestling action. We just had a Legion of Dork podcast not too long ago. Good old Nightbot in a live chat will let you know how to find all the playlists. and check them out here on the Blaze Radio Network. We had fun. We talked about 80s sitcoms, 90s sitcoms, stuff like that. A lot of wild, wacky old commercials. Speaking of wild and wacky, let's go ahead and bring on the co-hosts, my boys that always like to help run the show. They basically do run the show. I just sit back, relax, and like to take you along the ride. Elfie's in the building. Great to see you, Elf. So let's talk to my man CJ. What's happening, bro?
What's up, brother? You needed to take a breath, man. That was a lot of talking, man.
Oh, I'm used to it.
Talking about strap-ons, I'm getting a little worried here.
Yeah, well, we had a very unique conversation leading into the shows.
We definitely did. We'll leave it at that because we're doing some wrestling talk.
Serious business conversations, right?
Yeah, it was. I thought so.
No funny business, no phony business.
No, never.
Because we got to behave because the Doc's in the building, right, Doc?
Right. Exactly right.
I tried to catch you right when you were taking a drink or say something silly so you spit it out or something.
I'll say it by the power of Gray Skull. All right, that's all I'm gonna say on that one.
SFTS.
Oh, well, let's bring on the man of the hour here, Mr. Easy E's in the building. Welcome.
God. Always here, always ready. This time I'm here for the whole show, but calling somebody out already. That's the kind of day I'm having. PFW. Where's the shout out on this side? Ray didn't even show up.
Oh,
exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Can't wait to hear the other side of the coin or the other opinion. That's what Easy E's here for, and we were glad to have
PFW, hello. Hello, everybody, actually. Hello,
everybody. Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
We're just going to jump into it. We're going to jump into it because we reviewed last 2 weeks. We did a little bit of picks and a little bit of reviewing and stuff for some of the big cards that are coming up. But the big picker from Elimination Chamber and No Surrender, Bodie only did half of them, so he was 5 and 8, which is pretty damn good. CJ was 9 out of 15 out of the two match cards. Doc, you and me had 11, and Ray with 12.
Wow, that's really cool.
So Ray,
I did not think that's gonna.
He didn't get any.
Oh, he wasn't here. That's right.
I won.
He won.
What Bodie? Did Bodie get any? How'd Bodie do?
He had 5 out of 8.
Did he have 5 out of 8?
He had 5 out of 8. So Ray's the new champion now, taking over from Doc and Easy E, the tag team championship.
Yeah,
2-1 handicap match.
Doc lost it for our tag team here. Go figure.
Oh, it's my fault. Okay.
Waiting for that to happen. Can they coexist, right?
Oh.
So we got a lot of news that are just popping off very recently, and we ended the last show. We started the last show, and we were kind of ended the last show talking about things that we could talk about right now, and we're going to switch it up a little bit, and let you guys just pick any of these little headlines to talk about to start us off before we go into talk a little bit about Hall of Fames and a little bit about celebrities in wrestling and our thoughts later on. So last night, Buddy Matthews debuted in AEW. Today we got the word Jeff Hardy pretty much confirmed he will be there too. Swerve, Shane Strickland, the realist, Kill Shot, whatever you want to call him, pretty much says he's probably going to be going there as well. He's with Gresham at Terminus. They have a big show tonight, actually. And I was looking at the match card. There's 4 AEW stars there. So could that possibly be why Gresham is being in the backstage area? Or do you guys think Gresham can also be going AEW style? But at the same time, we have Cody Rhodes and Wyndham. Where are they? Will they come before Veer? That's my question. Who will come first?
I don't know.
I'll die before Veer premieres.
Veer's got a lot built up.
And then today, of all that, we hear Cesaro news just a couple hours ago that he waited his contract out, and now he is a free agent. And, of course, Tony's announcement that he has something big planned soon. And there was even a top 5 I saw someone had. Top 5 things Tony Khan's announcement could be. Could be another big entry like Bray Wyatt, because we've been waiting to see that. Ring of Honor tribute show was another rumor that was floating around. A streaming service for AEW, a super show with New Japan, a United Kingdom pay-per-view. But he's saying it's as big as the first dance. So, I mean, Doc, do you have any thoughts on what you think Tony's decision is?
It's hard it's hard with Tony Khan because you never can tell. I mean, the man obviously with everybody that's being signed right now, the man just throws money like it's crazy. I don't know how. Jesus Christ, I don't know how he does. I hope Jacksonville wins the Super Bowl in the next couple of years because he's going to be broke. He's going to be broke. I'm sorry. My God, if he's signing Swerve, if he's signing this one, if he's signing that one, my God. True. But the thing is, and I hate to say this, and I can't believe I'm about to agree with this one.
Yeah.
He's signing too many fucking people.
Yeah, good to see a coach plays.
And it's just, the thing is, I don't understand
It is a lot. It is a lot, man.
Yeah. So what is this big? I hope it is a streaming. I hope it's something different. Cody whispered in my ear. I hope it's Bray. He wants to see Bray. He misses Bray Wyatt.
Let's face it, guys.
It could be the video game coming out because the new game's coming out soon. I heard it wasn't going to be till the end of the year, but 2K22 coming out in 2 weeks. Right. That'd be a good time to drop.
Which looks like phenomenal. I saw gameplay on the video, and it looks phenomenal. So maybe AEW is the one that have to answer this, but why answer? It would be a great move. I mean, because he's saying it's a good move, but they're going to push they're going to hurry it up.
This back and forth is not going away. It's not going anywhere, and I think it's actually going to get bigger. I mean, right now, Wyndham and Cody Rhodes, my opinion on both of them has gone up and down. Like, I was agreeing with E at the one time, totally flipped me, thinking he is going to go back to WWE. But then I'm thinking the other way. Then I'm thinking he's never going to come back. And now it's kind of the same with Cody Rhodes. I love the fact I have no idea where those two are going to end.
I do.
Woody, give us your thoughts there, E.
It's a
March 5th.
What's that?
Main event, March 5th.
Revolution.
March 6th.
6 is Revolution.
March 5th is the MSG show.
MSG show.
And it's not even halfway sold out.
Pay-per-view.
Brock has no opponent.
It's not
sold out. Brock has no opponent.
It was going to be Bobby, right? But he can't. He's hurt.
Right. So there it is.
Do you think that's the Cody angle?
I do. I got to take that. But
I hate to
burst your
but
I'm leaning on the Cody going there too now, and I wasn't. Last week I was completely the other side.
Can I fill you both in on a little bit of this MSG talk? He's out of his fucking mind. Because Busted Open was talking about it the other day. Their capacity is like almost 18 or 19 grand or something. Mm-hmm. And for that March 5th show, they're scaling it down to 9,500. And as of last Monday, it wasn't even half sold out.
So here's where I'm at with it. If you're going to put something that big, like not even just the fact that it's Cody Rhodes, just the fact that it's a big fuck you to AEW. Where's the biggest stage of them all to put that big fuck you? It's at WrestleMania. He's going to WrestleMania, but they're not. He's just going to show up.
I think he's got to show up before Mania, though.
I've been waiting for them.
I don't know about that. I think I mean,
the Raw after Monday used to be a big deal. It used to be. I can't wait to see what happens next. And it hasn't been the last few years. So I wouldn't be mad if they saved him for the Monday after Raw. Although you're right.
I wouldn't either.
The biggest is, why would he sign and not go to Mania? That's coming up right now.
But I mean, you got to agree with me, guys. He's got to show up before Mania.
But when do you do it?
And this is what
do you do it early? Do you do it early, or do you wait and just like wait till almost the Raw before
I mean, wait. The word is out there
if you
much, it's going to be hard.
Which would be great because it's in Pittsburgh.
If you want to build it up properly, I think you got to you got to pull the trigger soon, man.
But see, like we talked about this before, and Brandon Ace brings it up too. A lot of these names, they're tough. How can you not sign Keith Lee? Like when these names come up, but it is a lot. It is a lot now. I am on the same page that he doesn't learn from the old WCW stuff and everything that happened before.
Hold on.
Maybe it's best Cody's not helping him make decisions anymore. I don't think they miss Cody at all. Go ahead, E.
I don't know about that.
They have enough now. They don't need him right now.
But they're going to
come back in a couple of years.
They're going to keep going. Gargano's coming.
Yeah.
Cesaro's coming.
I don't think Gargano's going.
Gargano's going.
He has such a relationship with Shawn Michaels. I don't know.
The Swerve Scott thing means absolutely nothing to me.
Maybe we see more people be free agents. Maybe we see more people not sign into one and play ball with 3 or 4.
But why do you have these guys who are non-main eventers? And you're signing them.
They said this all the time. You got to have mid-carders and jobbers and starters.
But you have enough of that. But you're still going to sign this. He's doing the same exact thing. Oh,
Cesaro's a main eventer.
Cesaro's 42 years old right now,
he is a main eventer.
I think he could definitely
never
help.
got pushed, I mean,
who goes under him? Over there.
They traded Cody for Cesaro.
There's people out there that are willing to, do for the business. I mean, my God, dude, in the wrestling business, you do what you're told.
No,
yes, you do.
Not when you're Kenny Omega, who's running.
Not that many of them. There's not
really. You don't think Kenny was like, cool, Christian, beat me for this belt?
No, I don't.
I do 100%. I do.
I think Swerve is a big name if he comes over.
I don't think Swerve is, but Cesaro 100%.
Cody's
that's two different aspects. You got an older, seasoned veteran. You got someone who's never really seen the big stage and really should.
Right.
swerve,
I
in
don't
my
disagree with that.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Look what's happening right now with Moxley and Brian Danielson. So they're gonna have, of course, they're gonna have their match. They're gonna beat the fuck out of each other, and then at the end, what's gonna happen? Oh, that's right. They're gonna start this little thing going, this little faction.
So.
I hope it blows up something like the NWO. I hope that they actually sign some people, or not sign some people, but get some people over onto their group, and they just run rampant. And then you need a hero, right? You need a white horse.
You already have a faction in AEW. You have multiple. Why do you need another one?
You need one that this is going to unramp everybody.
Yeah, this is a great idea. The stuff that
then what happens is
very innovative.
Then what I'm saying is, from there, they're beating everybody up. They're disrupting programming. They're just doing shit that they just bring it back, something NWO style, but a little bit different. And then that white horse comes. Who is it? It's Cody.
The white horse.
Here's the
white horse. There's the white horse. It's Ray.
Sycamore crotchless. That's amazing.
Hold on, Easy-E. Have you seen WWE's main roster lately? I have. They need some new stars right now. Okay. I'm going to say this very carefully. The billionaire only gets rid of the people that the billionaire wants to get rid of. And if the billionaire still makes $1 billion,
he could give a shit less.
They do have stars. Their stars are in NXT. That's where they want their new stars until they're ready. They're going to keep them down there and develop them, so to speak. So Ray, we just popped off. We're talking about Buddy Matthews now, the Jeff Hardy news, the Shane Strickland news. The possibility now Cesaro because he's a free agent. Is it too many people too often going to AEW? And what's your thoughts on all this? Cody and Wyndham, we don't have no clue where they're going to end up.
My thoughts are this.
I love the injury.
AEW's roster. AEW's roster is entirely overstocked. I mean, I love the moves they made. Don't get me wrong. And there's some like iconic ones that needed to be done, like the Bryan signing, the Cole signing, and the Punk signing. But now they just don't have enough TV. Unless Rampage is in talks to become a 2-hour show or its own brand, or maybe they have some TV deals for, one of the Darks to become, a television show or something. They just don't have enough television time for the roster they have, and people get lost in the mix. I mean,
didn't somebody say that it was the Lakers? There's not enough balls.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good comparison, but my point is this. So if you only have a 2-hour flagship show, a la Raw, a la, pre-SmackDown, whatever, and you're having to cycle storylines where your world champion isn't on every week, where your world tag team champions aren't on every week, that hurts your roster because it's not building around your main storylines the way that it needs to. Now, with WWE having 2 full brands that are completely separate, that makes, and I hate to say this about it because I don't believe it, but it does make Raw and SmackDown must watch, because if you want to know what's going on with Roman Reigns, you have to watch SmackDown. If you want to know what's going on, you have to watch Raw. You don't have that with AEW right now because it's just kind of a Mod Podge and there's not enough minutes to go around. I love Dark. I love Elevation. I don't watch them every week. I am a wrestling nerd. We know this.
It's a lot. Too much to watch.
Just there's 3 hours on YouTube. There's 3 hours on regular TV, and that's just for AEW. And even Rampage. I watch Rampage. I try to make it, sometimes I'm watching it Sunday night at 4 a.m. because I'm a noted vampire. But it's I try to make it must watch for me because I want to see what's going on. But in all honesty, if I missed Rampage, oh well.
That's how I feel about Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah,
and even Raw and SmackDown right now, like if I have a truly busy week and I can't catch one of the shows, I still go out of my way to watch Wrestle Talk and see the review to see if I missed anything that I need to go back and watch before I hit that delete button. There's nothing like that for outside of Dynamite for AEW. Like nothing's going to happen on Rampage that's earth shattering. And I think they need to change that. I think with them being on 2 separate networks, that as much as I mocked the WWE thing in the past for the 2 brands, I almost think with AEW's size and roster, they kind of need it. They kind of need 2 divisions, 2 show rosters, whatever you want to call it, in AEW to give everybody time to shine and develop. It's kind of a crazy thing to say that AEW's roster is more stacked and bloated than WWE's right now, but it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it 100% is.
Yeah, for sure.
The test is out there now for them to be able to manage it and make sure they don't overload it. But like we keep saying, like a lot of these names are very hard to pass up. Like there's a few in question. I could be like, well, they didn't really need to sign them. But for the most part, like we've been saying, the Danielsons, the Punks,
wait.
Danielson and Punk are hold on one second. Danielson and Punk are top level talent. That is a no-brainer. If Hardy becomes available for sheer name purposes, again, that's a no-brainer. But where it gets cloudy is a lot of the mid-level talent, like the Keith Lees. I wouldn't even call Shane Strickland yet mid-level. He's still on that lower tier, even though I do think he's a good worker.
Yeah.
But the problem is those type of guys, like your Keith Lees, like your Buddy Murphys, while they're great workers, no doubt, while they have history on the indies, no doubt, these guys need time and character time to develop and get over to the audiences. What they did on WWE wasn't them. That was the writer's vision of them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Punk and Danielson, yes, those characters are going to be tweaked, but they had hit the point in WWE where they had say in their character, and their characters are what you saw, maybe just a little watered down. But someone like Keith Lee, unless you were a hardcore indie guy, you don't know what Keith Lee's truly capable of.
No.
You only saw the watered down
you
version.
To see it. Right.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, how can someone like Keith Lee, how can someone like Buddy Murphy, how can someone, even like if they bring in Karrion Kross or Killer Kross, whatever you want to call him, how can someone like those guys get over to the mainstream audience if you're only going to have them on television every 2 weeks?
Yep.
That's going to be extremely hard.
Yep.
And that's
juggling
the main problem.
Yep. It's going to be very interesting. There's so many things up in the air right now.
And then on the other side, I know you guys talked about Cesaro and stuff like that already. I think WWE has the other problem. With this NXT 2.0, they're saying that, if we don't see them as a main eventer, you know, they shouldn't be in our developmental, blah, blah, blah. I want you to look at the WWE Hall of Fame. You have guys like Greg the Hammer Valentine, Coco Beware, all these guys who were never anything more than a career mid-carder. Mm-hmm. There is a place on the card for everybody. You need those mid-card guys to build your main event guys. And that's my problem with WWE right now is they're just wasting until they throw away the mid-card guys that are needed, like Cesaro. I love Cesaro's work. I think he's phenomenal. Even I would never call Cesaro a main eventer.
No.
His little
brush with the Roman Reigns thing, I enjoyed. It's great, but he's one of those guys that is in the upper mid, can float to the main event here or there, but he's never, to steal Roman Reigns' term, going to be a true needle mover. He's going to be one of those guys that you always want to see. He's a Jake the Snake. He's someone who's great.
And like you just said, you need all
to do, but that's a guy that you can put somebody greener than baby shit with, and he'll pull a great match out of him. He'll have a good program with him.
Aaron Corbin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did put.
So I mean, the different levels, you got to have a little bit of it all to build, like you said, build it up to that. I mean, if we got nothing but main event people coming over, that's a huge problem. If it was like 10 main event people, only main event people, that's an even bigger problem. If they were signing nothing but top level.
Well, that's if you look back to like Attitude Era, you truly had, say, 4 main event guys. 5 main event guys. You had Taker, you had Foley, you had Austin, Rock, and you had Triple H. So you had 5. Now you had other guys who flirted with the main event or might run with the title for a little bit, like Jericho, but then we're not truly like your flagship guys. A company needs 5 to 7 true main eventers to be able to carry, to keep the feuds fresh. And then you need in that mid card another 5 to 7 guys that are believable as a main eventer if you put them into that thing, but can also be in that upper mid card, have interesting feuds the fans are invested in without having to have the world title involved. And if you don't have those 14 guys on every roster, you're always going to have a problem. And right now, WWE lacks that on both brands. And
hey, you want to witness something cool in live?
And AEW has the 5 to 7 main eventers, but now they got 20 or 30 of those mid card guys, and there's no way to outmix them. How are you gonna wash it out? That's my view right now.
Hey,
You
I just
had
wanna-
a point, and I wanted to just finish my thought, but
just 2 seconds. I just want everybody to witness. This is happening live right now. This man does not know what's going on. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Cesaro has officially left WWE.
I like the shoulder sock up. Ugh,
Okay.
he's speechless.
So I don't know what to tell you, but you know what? We might see him in Jacksonville. Who knows?
So from all that I read, that he just got kind of like quietly let his stuff run out because right
Yeah.
now he is
Yeah,
available.
That
He
way
had-
he could show up whenever,
Yeah.
wherever.
Yeah, the 90-day clause is out.
He didn't
Like,
get
there's- He
released.
could go tomorrow.
He
He-
didn't
no,
get
because his
fired.
contract expired. There's no compete.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
You had a point, and I interrupted you. Go ahead.
It's fine. Let's talk about those mid-card wrestlers. You brought it up about guys in the Hall of Fame. Greg the Hammer, Coco Beware. You know, and I take it back to, you know, CJ, Doc, you know, you guys that are in the business. The guys that are training people aren't the elite talent. They're mid-card wrestlers at best that are training.
True.
Some are better than training than wrestling.
You know, because
Maybe better teachers.
maybe they were honing their craft as opposed to wanting to be that fan favorite, and they were probably paid decently. Look at Barry Horowitz, what a great wrestler. He made you believe he was terrible. You know, and you,
Hey, there is a legit place on every roster, and every company had that one great jobber that everybody wrestled.
Brooklyn
Like-
Brawler.
wait.
You had the Brooklyn Brawler in WWE. You had Horowitz in
These guys are
WCW.
idiots. These guys are absolute idiots in these columns. Now Miz is not a star. What?
I was about to comment it before you did. I'm not calling him an idiot, but I mean,
Miz
everybody's
is
entitled to their own
100% a
opinion.
star.
I'm sorry, Sean. I have to disagree with you on this
Yeah,
one.
I'd
man.
have to disagree as
Everyone,
well.
yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
entitled
Sean-
to their opinion.
Miz beat off too much at UPW and is now trying to hustle to make up for lost time.
Now here's the deal with the
I don't
Miz.
Beat
I'm
Miz
not a
off.
Miz
is not-
fan either, but he's a star.
Miz is
Yeah.
not a technical wrestler. He's a character wrestler, and as a
Yes.
character wrestler,
Yes.
he is absolutely
He's a
phenomenal.
great character.
Yeah, there's
That's
not
true.
many
That's
better
different.
than him.
And he is in that tier of mid Carter that when the number is called and you need him to go to the main event,
He can
he
go.
can do
Can
it.
do that
He
as
can
well,
make
yeah.
it believable. He
Definitely.
can make you
Yeah.
hate him.
I just the thing I don't understand is like, okay, there's a guy saying Cesaro could go back to Ring of Honor. I would love to see that. I'm not gonna lie, but then again, if Cesaro does go to AEW, say it happens, he has that open door to go anywhere. The
Yeah.
thing is,
Yeah,
they're not. AEW is not as solidified as WWE. Hey, do you want to go make some money over here? Cool, go.
That
It's
was
not.
my point. That was
the
my
thing, I
point
think-
earlier, saying maybe
Yes.
we'll see more of these guys that will float around. Maybe not sign a exclusive contract, and with AEW they have that
But-
freedom
but-
to
but-
go to Japan.
I
if
would
they
pay a
want
ticket to see Miz.
Go
by
to
the way.
Mexico if they want.
You guys also see
I'll
the
pay a
news
ticket.
today. I don't know if you guys saw this, that Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to do a wrestling federation.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the Screen Actors Guild. So they get a union behind them and that kind of stuff. So that
I've
could
been
Interesting.
saying wrestling needed a union forever, but it'll
Yeah.
never happen.
well, no,
I agree with Sean Stryker here with the Miz Macho Man Miz thing. I'll agree. Come on, Macho Man. He died for our sins.
Legit right now, a wrestler does not have to be signed with one of the two companies to make a really good living. And I'm not even talking about a livable living. I'm talking about a really good living.
Comfortable, yeah,
You have,
absolutely.
with Control Your Narrative starting, who has said they will not have contracts. Ring
Yeah.
of Honor has said their new business plan does not have contracts. MLW does not require workers to have a contract. You have PWG, who Cesaro was already a big person for.
Yep.
And New Japan does not require exclusive contracts to do tours. I mean, someone like Cesaro can go out there and make a couple $100,000 a year and work whatever he wants to work.
Yeah,
I think
because
that's
he has a
exciting.
name.
I think
I mean,
that's exciting for the whole business. It should be.
it is.
It is absolutely, and so I hope that he doesn't. I hope that he doesn't just jump straight to AEW. Not because I wouldn't want to see him in
good to see
AEW
you.
at some point. AEW has a mid card problem. They just have too much, and there's not a way right now that I see until they renegotiate TV deals for them to cure it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't stockpile talent, but what's that?
He'd be used worse than Rusev is.
No, I
Well,
disagree.
Rusev's not being used. If
He's
you
not being
think
used
that
at all
terribly,
right now,
Rusev is injured. Rusev has been injured. I know you see him on like post and he looks fine, but he has a nerve issue in his neck, from what I've been told or what I've heard.
I knew there was a reason why he hasn't been on.
That they're trying to get taken care of, and he's been advised not to work. And in AEW's credit, I don't know if you guys know this about AEW contracts. I know this has been out there a little bit. They do have health insurance.
Yeah.
And he's been told by doctors that he needs time to let that heal, and he's having some kind of nerve treatment. But that's why we haven't seen him on TV. And honestly, he's not a character that you need to have on TV every week to keep relevant. He's one of those guys that when he comes back and makes an impact, he'll be just as over and popular.
I agree.
I don't see him as somebody like Darby Allin or somebody new, like, you know, where if he was hurt, you'd still need to try to find him something to do to keep him growing. Like, he's already established.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of question marks that are out there in the wrestling world basically right now. And I think that's a great thing. I mean, it's not as predictable as it used to be right now. There's a lot of names floating around. And it's WrestleMania season, so there's a lot of big stuff going down very soon with all the companies like I mentioned
I
before.
do see Grisham signing. I see Grisham signing AEW.
Even with he has his own project, Terminus, as Terminus is starting to grow a little bit, and they got rules.
I do see him working with AEW and doing some one.
You got to get his name out, because if you guys weren't smart marks just like me, you'd have no clue who he is.
He was at backstage last night.
I agree that
he was reportedly backstage. That's the second time they've reported Gresham backstage. Now, like I said earlier, Terminus show tonight. Jay Lethal's there, Daniel Garcia's there, Serena Deeb's there, Santana's there. So there's a bunch of. He might have to sign some paperwork with Tony last night for that show or something. Who knows? I mean, we don't know.
Well, that video did say big stuff was happening, so let's see. You know,
and that's Tony's big thing is it might not just be a return or a debut.
Yeah, I definitely see ROH title being defended on AEW TV at some point here in the near future.
Sooner than later, yeah.
Because I do think that Tony Khan loves wrestling to the point where, like, even though it's not his company, as he's shown with Impact, he's willing to help somebody else out. And it makes his TV product a little more interesting that, you know, there's a foreign world title being defended or something like that. But then you have to walk the line, too, of who are you going to feed to Gresham that is a believable main eventer that doesn't hurt them or make your roster look weak. Like, everybody wants to see Daniel Bryan and Jonathan Gresham, including myself. I think that would be an amazing match. But are you jobbing Bryan out?
Doesn't need a title.
I mean, I don't think
that match doesn't need a championship. It doesn't need a title. They could fight on its own and be good enough.
And that might be one of the things that happens down the road. You know, if he loses the belt, then they run a dream match like that. But yeah, that's my biggest problem with the ROH thing. It's like, okay, so like they're feeding, like Santana's doing Terminus. That's awesome. He's a tag team guy. He can take a singles loss, no big deal. But you know, you want to see a marquee matchup if you're going to see the ROH world title, on AEW. Like, I want to see Punk. I want to see Bryan. I want to see, somebody major. But then how do you not put the strap on them unless you have interference or something like that? And they can't run a ROH invasion angle. They're doing that in Impact now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless they bring the exact same stable from Impact, that would be freaking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're running across all kinds of brands, but I think that's just, if I was Tony Khan, I wouldn't sign off on that, because that really gives ROH steam.
So there's not going to be a lack of news stories for the next couple of weeks here. That's for sure. As we head towards WrestleMania season, it looks like many of these wrestling companies are totally aware of it. They want the eyes on them. They're going to try to make some news, some headlines, something somewhere, and we'll be talking about it here. Ray, you did miss that we announced that you are the Big Picker champion again. 12 out of 15, right, in Elimination Chamber and no surrender. So no more tag champs, and Doc and Easy E, they could not cover.
I was in second, God damn it, with
Doc, were you pitching a Cody Rhodes NWO when I signed on?
No, Cody Rhodes coming to destroy whatever Moxley.
Yeah, but a Cody NWO, Cody being the leader.
No, I never said that. I said that Cody would be the White Knight. Cody would come in and kind of like save the day. That's maybe that's why this whole thing might be at work. But then again, I mean, if you look at Raw, look how Edge was talking. Look how everybody's picking out words out of that promo, though, but he also used the words phenomenal in that promo, and AJ Styles has been campaigning for that match.
They're aware that these little Easter eggs are going to be caught, and
they're doing it on purpose because of guys like us.
Yep. Yeah. We're talking about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to wonder about it. Next week, we will get into Revolution a little deeper because it'll be that weekend, so we'll probably get picks for it. But it's looking like a stacked card. I mean, Cole and Paige, Bryan Danielson and John Moxley, MJF and CM Punk, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, the tag team fight. We still got one more to go for 3. Jericho and Kingston. There's even rumors of House of Black versus Death Triangle. If Ray can be approved to be back, they want to do that match. It's on the book.
I love it.
Everything I saw is mid-March for Phoenix, though. So unless he is,
I hated the new gimmick.
Oh, you're insane!
I thought it was dumb.
It was fucking awesome.
What was awesome about it? He wore a black mask and a black coat and a black. Come on.
Who?
Penta.
That's a Lucha thing,
Penta
dude.
Dark. It's his old character.
Yeah. Well, the Dark needs to go to Penta. Get the hell out of here.
Oh, you're high.
So should the Undertaker have retired after American Badass and not went back?
I guess the Fiend should have never been born either. Like multiple personalities are just dumb in wrestling.
It was a dumb gimmick. Like, come on, man.
You didn't know about it. Number one being a thing, and they didn't sell it very well on the mic. So
let's give Easy-E a history lesson in Lucha Wrestling. Penta was assumed murdered, sort of, by Vampiro. Vampiro was supposed to be one of his mentors, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so why do you have to tell me this?
Because you didn't know it.
You don't watch AAA.
Right, and how many people watch that shit that watches AEW?
Maybe not
I
the
don't
mass
even know
audience,
everything about it, but I've watched it.
You sure as shit know.
I don't watch AAA, but I knew that.
This is Lucha Underground, though, when he was...
So he came back as a darker version of himself because he had to come to grips with everything, blah, blah, blah. It's the exact same thing as, like I said, The Undertaker. The only difference is The Undertaker is a star that you watch grow up, going from the American Badass back to being dark.
I didn't have a problem with that.
He's reaching back into his past.
Just different clothes. He didn't do anything different except his manager wore a white mask and wore a cape.
He had different music, different things.
What do you want him to do? Like cut the guy's hand off and shove it up someone's ass or something?
If he doesn't suck his soul out, I don't even want to hear
it.
about
if he doesn't rip his heart out and drink
From
his
the side.
blood, he's not evil.
From the side.
Start my ass.
Combat fatality.
Eat your heart out from the side.
Yeah.
All right, we will get into Revolution in more depth next week, and we'll go from there. Let's go to our next segment. We're talking more about AEW, WWE, all these free agents and people that are around. That will be our hot topic probably for the next couple of weeks to see where people end up landing. But we tried to make some sense of it. It's not that easy. Easy-E has all the answers. If you don't know, he will give you all the correct answers.
Spell.
He's never wrong. All right, let's go to our 2 cents next. We jumped right in to make sense.
Tommy Two-Tone is officially suing Eazy-E for.
You still can't spell. It's call, not doll. I'm like the grammar police.
Who's
today.
doll? And what's wrong with doll's meat?
You should have put to meet Deli and put DLI.
Easy-E Deli.
So we're going to talk about Hall of Fames. There's 2 that we're going to talk about, so we're going to make our 2 cents of this. So let's go ahead and bring up, and we have one person in the WWE Hall of Fame, The Undertaker, rightfully so. I mean, I wasn't a big Undertaker fan, but I don't think
that should be the only person that gets inducted this year.
I agree.
The only other names that have been kicked around in articles the last 2 days is the Steiner brothers. Now, there's a lot of reasons why they wouldn't, but I think they definitely should be able. I'm just mixed on Hall of Fame altogether.
Jesus.
Listen,
could you imagine Scotty Steiner?
I like the idea of the Undertaker getting his own thing. It's Texas, everything. Listen, if Braun Breaker is as legit as we all think he is, why would you waste the Steiner brothers now? Then wait until Braun Breaker is in the main event of WrestleMania and then induct his dad and uncle.
Or does that give him shine now for NXT and get some more eyes on them while he's up and coming? He's the NXT champ, right?
I agree with you.
I'm just trying to play the other side of the coin.
I'd say,
I agree.
Look, as good as Braun's been and as quick of a trajectory as he's had, what if you have someone like Breaker next year winning the Rumble and, out of the blue, and then his dad and his uncle are getting put in and stuff? That would be something that is interesting and adds more prestige to him having a main event, more more interest. It's not needed this year. Literally, you don't need anybody else than Undertaker.
Yeah, JW, he's got it kind of. Scott doesn't want it. Rick doesn't give a shit, and that's spot on. But I mean, they're iconic.
I don't
to
think
me.
Rick
Like I
gave
said,
a shit before. I think Rick gives a shit now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm up and down with Hall of Fame altogether. Like,
for those of you who've ever met Scott Steiner in person, he is exactly what you think he is.
Yes.
And his exact words, if you ask him if he wants to be in the Hall of Fame, what's the paycheck?
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid.
That's
Get the fuck out of here.
My one profile picture is me and him going at it. I was reffing a match.
We will see if the Undertaker is, and rightfully so. If they're going to have 1 year where there's only one person, the iconic
This would
Undertaker.
be the year to do it.
In all fairness, they're doing it after SmackDown, so they're doing it from 10 to 11. So realistically, it could only be one.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Should.
he could more than cover that full hour.
You know what I would rather see than 15 inductees? I would rather see more than one inductor. I would like to see like an MC'd version of whoever's inducting him, and then bring out like 2 or 3 guys to talk about him.
Yeah, like a roast kind of, more like a Hall of Fame
Not
roast.
even a roast, but like
Not as
just
bad
to
as a
tell
roast,
stories about him from different aspects. Have it supported with the great video packages. That
This is your
WWE
life,
does,
Undertaker.
and then have Undertaker come out and have 15 minutes to thank and talk or whatever. You know what I mean?
If they're going to do something for anybody, it would be this time with only one to experiment with something like that. I agree.
I think that would be a lot cooler format than let's have 15 inductors or inductions and everybody only gets 3 minutes to talk or whatever. Like let's have 3 guys have 5 minutes to talk about the Undertaker. Let's have an MC inducting him that has 5-ish to 7 minutes talk about him, and then give him 15 minutes to give a proper speech, and support the rest of it with video packages and stuff. And that is a cool thing that you would go back and watch that later. Like,
so let me throw this out there also. He's getting inducted. Does he show up on the show at all? Anybody?
I think no.
Sure.
Actually, yeah.
I know he comes out for here's the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But he's gonna come out. He's gonna come out to his own shit.
I don't think I don't want to see him involved.
Okay, wait. Hear me out. Does he get inducted as the American Badass, the Ministry of Darkness, and the Undertaker? And then does he come out 3 times at Mania?
No,
they wouldn't do something like that. They're gonna. It's gonna be the dark. It's gonna be the gong, and he's gonna come out the coat. He's gonna go down. He's gonna roll his eyes, stick out his tongue.
And is it anybody else but Kane that should
touch himself?
So that was going to be my next question. If Paul Bear is alive, it's got to be Paul Bear.
Yeah, it would be Paul. Yeah. I like Ray's idea for this specific one, since there is only one, to have 4 or 5 people kind of mold that story for. I mean, most of
with Vince
the story, but
do you put Vince in this one? Because
I
think are like best friends.
I absolutely think it should be Vince.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely do, because I think Vince should talk about. Would you watch that Undertaker special, which was so well done?
Yeah.
But when Vince talked about how Taker never left, and like when the business was almost, when he was up against the wall, how Taker was there for him, and almost teared up. Like, I would love to see that without editing. I would love to see how if McMahon holds it together or truly breaks down, because not only has this guy been a figurehead of his company for 30 years, this is legit one of his best friends. He's come out blatantly and said that the Undertaker is his favorite worker as far as gimmick goes. I mean, so I would love to see that. And then, yes, you have Kane. You bring back the Godfather, who's admittedly one of, Taker's best friends. Similar to what they did for him on SmackDown, but actually give these guys, like, some time to talk and, like, tell a story or two about Taker.
Would you have a problem if any of the MSK boys got inducted with him, his actual boys?
Yeah, Henry Godwin.
Fuji,
but what if those guys are Hall of Famers?
Mr. Fuji.
It's a Hall of Fame.
Fuji, sure, and even Godfather, but not as the Godfather. I mean, he was Papa Shango. He was the Godfather. He was
Kama.
Yeah, I mean, for his sheer longevity and stuff is cool, but again, why take away from it? Just
Yoko's already in.
Yeah.
Henry Godwin, I don't think so.
Henry's a hell of a guy.
Nice guy, but yeah, I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer, at least not in this aspect. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what they do, but I think the idea of a one thing would be great.
We'll see how they treat the Hall of Fame this year, but we have a different Hall of Fame to also mention. Big shout out to Crimson Ninja in here, and
I honestly think WWE Hall of Fame gets diluted by them trying to put 7 or 8 people in every year.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel
like
like Universal's going to put in a WWE Hall of Fame, and I think what's going to happen is
Disney.
well, that's the thing. If Disney buys it, then Disney already has the building, and me being the Disney guy that I am, surprise. They're saying that the NBA store is going to be transformed.
I heard that also.
What about the Ministry of Darkness just as a faction? I mean, I don't know if that was brought up or not, but I'm talking like you got your Midian, you got your I mean JBL was already inducted, we know that. Ron Simmons on his job, but the acolytes is one. Who else? Viscera was never. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Ministry of Darkness.
These are not in the Hall of Fame.
What's that?
Viscera and his back titties are not in the Hall of Fame.
I'm just saying, maybe those back titties need to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he did bust his ass. Did
anybody else see the comments that Lance Storm made about Cyndi Lauper?
No.
So there was talk of Cyndi Lauper, how she's in the Celebrity Hall of Fame wing or whatever. And Lance Storm is campaigning that he thinks she should be in the true Hall of Fame, not a celebrity wing, not anything, because of her contributions to wrestling.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Well, she wasn't just a singer; she was a manager.
Yeah.
She ushered in the first real boom for.
We will talk about her when we get to the celebrity portion here. That is coming up soon. That'll be our
slide on, boys. Slide on.
But let's talk about the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame.
I'm going in.
The first list was the Briscoes. Briscoes 2002 to 2004, and then 2006 to now. 12-time tag champs, one-time six-man champs with Bully Ray, and Jay has held the world title. Is that Ray? Yeah. Has 2-time singles champs. So let's start with CJ. What do you think about the Briscoes?
I think that's the only way you can go. You know what I mean? They've been there pretty much from day one. One of the best tag teams still today. So I think that's a damn good choice.
First overall in their first Hall of Fame. I don't really know if they really needed a Hall of Fame, but I think this is a cool way to kind of keep ROH alive while they're waiting to come back.
Yeah.
Stuff to talk about. What do you think, Doc? First induction.
I mean, the Briscoes, when you think of ROH, that's the first team that comes to my mind. ROH, I mean, made the Briscoes what the Briscoes are today. They're a great tag team. People are still speculating them and FTR one day.
It's going to happen.
I'm hoping it does. I'm praying it does. It's going to be amazing. I mean, these guys, like I said, they take tag team wrestling to the next level. They make it fun. They make it interesting. These guys are more than deserving to be in the Hall of Fame.
ETE, do you care?
I actually do.
Okay.
Surprisingly, yeah. I actually don't mind the Briscoes. By the way, I hope you're reading my whole thing there.
He can't defend himself right now. That's the bad part.
I have control of my microphone. Kiss my ass.
No, whatever's playing on in the background.
Yeah, man.
But
Lisa is doing a live sale from the showroom, so I can't stop her at the moment. So I'm just going to keep muting myself when I'm not talking.
So tell me about the Briscoes real quick, Ray, while you're talking.
Look, I love. I mean, obviously, who they're saying, and I know you're going to go through these slides here. Who is the first, class of the Hall of Fame? Is 100% legit. I agree with the thing that this is a good way to, to establish the history and keep them in the thing. I just wish they would have called it something different. I wish they would have called it a Hall of Honor or something like that. For anything, to me, there can only be one or two truly recognized Hall of Fames. Like you have the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Hall of Fame, which that's a publication doing its Hall of Fame. You have the WWE Hall of Fame, which has not only had WWE workers in it, but in the, they've added people from other companies, from, celebrities, stuff like that. So trying to put your company on par with that, I think, gives an improper perspective on it. I wish they would have just called it something different.
Yeah.
But I mean, they absolutely should. They've been a company now for, 15 years. They have, some of the best workers in the world have come through there. They absolutely have every right to do something like that.
Your mic is scratchy, Ray. I don't know what it is, but your mic sounds like someone's gargling on some ice cubes or something.
I don't know. Same mic.
It sounds like something's getting nailed from the side.
Let me go out and come back in. Bring me back.
Let's go to the next one and talk about our next inductee to the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame, and it was Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson from 2002 to 2009.
Great hair.
Pure Championship, World Championship 2005, and he won the Survival of the Fittest competition in 2005.
Another great choice.
CJ, what do you think about?
How can you not? I mean, when you think of Ring of Honor, you think Briscoes, you think Danielson, and I think you're going to get to Samoa Joe, Punk, guys like that. How you can't mention Ring of Honor and those names not be in the same sentence. Yeah, I don't know. His mic was still acting goofy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna. There's the only thing that when you, like you said, like being CJ hit it all on the head, especially when you think of ROH, especially back Bryan Danielson, the pedigree, everything about him that's going on today. I don't feel like it's too soon, especially with ROH being very rocky right now. If they're gonna reopen, rebrand, if not, I mean, it's good to get him in now if we can.
I actually like the Bryan Danielson with the NWA title on the back, our back
on that graphic. Yeah,
that's how I remember Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
I preferred that wrestler more than I prefer this one. This one I think is watered down in WWE, and I think the concussion has made him even. I don't know. I just think he's
I'm not even going to go there with you.
You're smoking crap.
You guys really think he's doing what he was doing back in the day?
Yeah.
I think he's better than he's ever been right now, really showcasing what he should have been showcasing. I didn't know he could do half the things he's doing. I think he's one of the best in the world right now because he's been able to be more of himself.
Yeah, being a striker, being a badass. I mean, I love it.
You can tell, me as just a casual fan can even tell that the way he wrestles now is nowhere near the way he was wrestling in WWE.
No, not at all.
And I don't know the fine points that these guys do. I'm just speaking as a fan watching outside. Watching him fight now does not look like the same person. You could tell he was limited in what he was. Same thing with Moxley when I watched Moxley.
Listen, WWE has a strict policy on what they do. Like they want you to hit the greatest hits, even if you only have a 5 to 7 minute match. And
I'm not saying either's wrong or right either, or better or worse.
No,
I'm just
saying,
I'm
like,
just acknowledging the difference.
It's one of those deals where a guy like Bryan Danielson, a guy like Punk, a guy like I'm not even in there, like but Gresham and things like that. These are guys that have a repertoire of so many moves and so many ways to work a match that they're not worried about if they hit their suicide dives. They're not worried if they hit that. They're more thinking of it from a match, as far as psychology and strategic.
Yeah.
But when you have a WWE producer telling you, well, this is what the crowd expects of you, you have to fit it in somewhere, but you only have 5 minutes to tell a story or 7 minutes because it's a TV match, then it's going to be a whole different match than, you watch that match with, and I'm going to go back to the Hangman Danielson first, that 60-minute draw.
Yeah.
Like that match was, I could sit right now and watch that match again, not fast forward through it. It doesn't feel like it took 60 minutes because he just kept changing the style of the match. He kept changing the style of the work. He kept changing the story and the narrative. That's a masterclass in wrestling. And that's what he's capable of. But if you don't you can't do that in 5 minutes. You can't do that in 7 minutes. You can't do that in a CJ Sensation match where you give it 6
and get it from the side.
From the side.
Oh, geez. So Bryan Danielson, pretty much a first balloter in here too. No brainer
about those guys that we think are handcuffed. If they were really handcuffed,
it's a different style. It's just
right,
and they're going to protect them too. They won't get hurt. One of those big time moves you don't do.
Careers.
I don't disagree with that.
I didn't say it was wrong or right.
I don't.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It probably did save some of their careers.
No, you are correct. I that is the counterpoint to my point.
Yeah.
However, it's one of the things with WWE where people question like, oh, how are you going to sign insert name here and then send him for seasoning to the Performance Center? It's because WWE has a very strict way that they want things done. And yes, there's been things they've limited because they want to try to protect people. Like they took away the pile driver, they took away, certain maneuvers. That they took away Seth's curb stomp for a while, because they're trying to oh, well, this could be construed as this or this could be that. But the bottom line is these guys know what they're doing. They took away Joe's muscle buster because of an injury to Tyson Kidd, but Joe's muscle bustered 385 workers without a thing. Just because one freak accident happens, you outlaw the move.
Think about this, Doc. I'm going to throw this to you because I know you and I were at Rise a while back. Yeah. There are some moves out there, and Craig, you can answer this. I don't know about you, Ray. There are some moves out there in indie wrestling right now, whether it's around here or whatever, that even though people that know that what they're doing, it makes me cringe.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah, definitely. 100%.
100% agree with you. But the problem is, in my opinion, though, is that there's moves that are taken wrong by a worker on accident. Like, for instance, we just saw in Elimination Chamber, Madcap Moss. He took an Alabama slam wrong. I mean, that was Moss's fault, not McIntyre's. 100%.
Yeah, you're supposed to stretch your neck back like this, right?
Out for it. Yeah, it took a front bump. CJ, unfortunately, CJ had his neck broken in a Styles clash.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
My head was tucked a little bit.
Things happen. There's nothing you can do about it. But then there is some moves that are just completely batshit crazy.
Right.
That Austin Theory move, I don't understand it, man. Like that's gonna hurt somebody someday.
What, the F5 off the cage or his finisher?
The F5 off no.
He landed on his feet.
The F5 off the cage was safe as could be. It looked awesome, but that was done as safely as could be.
I thought he was going to rip his fingers off there. Like, look, he reached out for the cage for a second. I was like,
he did reach out for the cage to slow himself down so he could land on his feet and not spike himself.
Hey, to your point, though, Samoa Joe, Hall of Famer no matter where you're at.
So, Samoa Joe, 2002 to 2008, Pure Champ, World Champ in 2003. He held it for 21 months. And then after, I think it was his Impact run, he made a return in 2015 back in Ring of Honor. Now, do you guys think he's going to fight again? And if so, where is he going to go? Will he fight
100% yes.
Yeah, why wouldn't he?
I don't think he goes.
It's been a while.
I think he does the indie shows where he felt comfortable. Hell, Craig and I saw him at the Palisades in McKeesport how many times?
Yeah.
Just
I hope he does.
The fact that he took a backstage job after the commentary job tells me that Joe knows his body doesn't have, the litany of matches left, whereas Brian felt like he could still go at a high level for years.
Right.
It tells me that Joe knows his numbers, kind of there. Maybe he's already decided that it's not there, but I definitely see him coming in somewhere, whether it's going back to Impact, whether it's involved with the new Ring of Honor, and having a small run, but I think he's going to be transitioned to one of those backstage guys like Tommy Dreamer has, where he might do a match here and there, a feud here and there, but I see him being a big force behind the stage because he's one of those guys that really love wrestling and really wants to help wrestling.
Oh, okay, let me ask you guys this. This is a good one. This one popped in my head. This is how good my head is right now.
Oh, your head is so good, E.
I heard a lot of people pay you for that.
Exactly.
Never mind.
From the side.
Is Samoa Joe or Keith Lee? Big man, throw his body around. Move.
Samoa Joe, I think, and this is nothing against Keith Lee. I think Samoa Joe, and I've not always been a fan of his for whatever reason, like you guys may have, but Samoa Joe, I think, is a far better worker all around than Keith Lee.
I agree.
When Samoa Joe was fighting AJ Styles and Kurt Angle, that was my favorite Samoa Joe in Impact. I loved the way he just beat the shit out of people and went around roughhouse, and I was hoping to see the same thing wherever he went. But I'm hoping he comes back. We'll see. Only time will tell, and he definitely has gas left in the tank. We'll see. The final inductee is CM Punk, 2004 to 2006, tag champ with Cabana and world champ 2004. Doc, what do you think about the final inductee, this first little wing here? He's only there for 2 years.
But you can't take it away from CM Punk. I mean, CM Punk made such a name for himself in ROH. I mean, that's where people started to get the buzz. That's where people started to get that wow.
I knew his name when CJ beat him back in the VFW.
Damn it, you ruined it. You ruined it, Blaze. You ruined it. I literally was going to say, this propelled him to so many proportions, like putting the man below me right here over and having to like it
for the high stakes title, baby.
There you go.
Easy E, what's your thoughts on Punk as a Hall of Famer?
You know how hard it was to get Craig home that night?
Why would you say that?
I was all kinds of boozed up.
Oh, okay.
Listen, with the exception of the low light of his career of jobbing to my tag partner, CM Punk, whenever Ring of Honor was like kind of that like indie company that if you were a mainstream fan, you were kind of hearing about, or like you kind of had interest in. The names that were dropped were Chris Hero, Nigel McGuinness, CM
Claudio
Punk, Bryan Danielson.
Castagnoli.
And then the Briscoes. Like those were one of the names you were going to hear about, whether he was there or not at that point. And he's always carried that banner. He dropped the ROH thing and the pipe bomb promo. He's never quit carrying that flag, even though he quit dealing with that company.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Isn't Ring of Honor where he first used Cult of Personality?
Correct.
Yes.
Maybe my man MJF will show up, take his Hall of Fame spot, just like he took everything from him this week. And
I was just going to say, while we're on the CM Punk, let's talk about the promo last night, something different from MJF.
My man MJF just
I liked it.
A lot of the history checks out, too, as you see the post today that came up that he did decades ago about playing football. And
his mom even made a post about how she's proud of him.
Yeah, you should hear her talk all kind of shit on him.
Doc, what did you think about that promo last night, Doc? A little something different from Punk and MJF, Doc.
Honestly, yeah, you guys are going to laugh at this, but for someone who was bullied in high school and someone who, resorted to watching professional wrestling to forget the horror.
His Bible.
I was being serious until I was
trying to be. It's hard to be serious around here, but we get you.
Yeah, but it hit you. It hit you. I mean, if it didn't hit you in a manner like then he did run up it. It just proves that MJF is very versatile.
That's where I was going. I wanted to hear that.
He's
complete
one of
on
the
the
best
mic.
at what he does.
Yes,
Something
and the
different
thing
than what
is it a ruse though, or are they actually trying to give you a side of MJF?
No, listen, that was the only thing I thought missing from last night. I love that Punk came out and showed like the genuine concern. Is this real? Is this true? I love that he had those moments of breakup in his voice when he was cutting the promo. The only thing, and I was waiting for it, is they kept zooming in on his face as he was walking up the ramp. All I wanted was a little shit-eating smirk.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. And
or
I
him
know
to
they're
say
dragging
Jew
it
one
out
more
there.
time.
You're not going to get the shit.
I was going to say, what do you guys think about the Jew?
He's a master plan right now. Something's up.
He said Jew about 35 times.
But he was using it in context that he was called Jew-boy, and hey, then he endeared the Jewish person in the audience. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, today's cancel culture, you got to watch what you say, but the way he did it was
MJF does not
telling his
story. People
watching when I watch again.
Yeah, it might get more people to know. Oh, he is.
We've all done things in our lives that we could technically be canceled for.
But it's not MJF if he's not pushing the envelope a little bit, I guess.
Let me ask you this.
CJ, we had a 3-year
hold on. Hey,
that came out of our mouth would get us canceled.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, listen to this one though. What do you think about this? So they have the match, right? Punk beats him. And then, Punk's still in this belief that he is this kid that was bullied, that looked up and all this stuff. And then he gives him a hug, starts crying. And then you see Jericho Michaels, End of Mania, whatever it was, all over again. He just reaches down and just hooks him right in the nuts and just walks away and just starts laughing as he's wiping away his tears.
I want to see the Wardlow turn on MJF at Revolution.
This is one of the things that I kind of
I don't think it's going to happen. I want it to.
If they play this next week too, in this sympathetic role for MJF, and then you have a moment in the dog collar match where maybe Punk hesitates for a second that causes him the match, that gives MJF the opening to do something dastardly, and then MJF comes out and cuts the promo of, I manipulated you, I was in your head, I did everything just so you wouldn't, blah blah blah. I think that's where they're going with it, because then it gives you an excuse to put MJF over Punk again.
Right.
It gives, it shows a good side of Punk of like, oh, he was just being sympathetic because he felt bad, where it doesn't hurt Punk as much. I think that's the route they're playing so that they can put MJF over, keep him strong without doing as much damage to Punk as a true clean loss would.
Okay, I got to chime in and piggyback off Ray for 1 second. So what if they do that, but they do it a little bit differently? You discover that halfway through the match, Punk hesitates, but it's not enough to cost him the match. It's enough to cause MJF to get the advantage, and then that is when you pull off the Wardlow turn.
I mean,
There's a lot of different ways to
Yeah.
go with it.
I mean,
A
he
lot of
could
different
foil
ways
his
to go with it.
plans, to foil the plans. You know,
both
I could have
ways,
got
I
away if it
think,
wasn't
would
for
be
you,
fine.
dumb kids, Scooby Doo kind of stuff. No.
See, I kind of think if they go the route that I'm talking about, and then maybe the next night on Dynamite, you have MJF cutting a promo about how it was all bullshit. He manipulated Punk, blah blah blah, and maybe that's what drives Wardlow to finally be like, enough. You were the worst human being ever, blah blah blah, and that's when he turns.
So
that way, that match gets its spotlight the way it should, and then we're on to the next thing. That way, because they also need to cut that Punk feud off.
If MJF's not the champion by the end of the year, none of this.
He should be. He should be. He should be.
Yeah, he all right should be.
So other
he
than
should be, but he doesn't need to be.
No, he
yeah,
doesn't.
he
That's
does.
true as well.
He needs the big pop to get over. Like he's over, but he will be skyrocketed at that point.
When
He
he gets his
skyrocketed
first
himself
reign-
without it.
When he gets his first title reign, though, he needs a good, solid, long title reign to like establish himself so that he doesn't have to hold it again. Because, like you said, and it's been proven in all these matches. The match with Punk that headlined, the Dynamite a few weeks ago. This dog collar match might as well be called the co-main event, if not the main event of this. Even though I'm not a fan of anything other than the world title main eventing. But I mean, this is getting as much, and it should, because it has been a lot more. Then you know what I mean. So he doesn't need it, but he does need at some point soon, I feel, to legitimize his longevity of his career, to have a really long Ric Flair-esque where he cheats every match.
Agreed.
To quote a wise man, in the words of Paul Atlas, great guy, he said, there's not enough chicken shit heels anymore in this business, and MJF's kind of bringing that back. So
yeah. And hey, he could probably pull off a good baby. What do you guys think about them using the baby face and heel terms in the promos and stuff every once in a while? You guys got an opinion on that?
I have a problem with it.
Because it's not necessarily something you normally hear, but recently they've been
human
here and there. Yeah,
it shows that humanality.
I do like.
Yeah,
we're talking about the Undertaker being a Hall of Fame. He was the Undertaker the whole time, his whole life, no matter what.
True.
Yeah, until that documentary came out.
And now you're paying more attention to guys that are doing the heel turn but I'm this guy.
True.
You're watching you're hating the Miz on Monday, but on Tuesday on Miz and Mrs. you're loving Miz.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
So that made Bodie a fan of Miz, believe it or not.
Above and beyond these.
Go
ahead, Ray.
I was going to say, I think it's one of those deals where, listen, the smart marks, the true hardcore fans, whatever terminology you want to use for them, is a small percentage of the wrestling fans who actually watch the show. Like, we might be the 20% minority of the guy, maybe even less of the people who watch, all the shows, because we're truly into it. We care about the back scenes. We know the terminology, regardless of whether we're in the business. I know, 3/5 of us were actively in this business or are still in this business, but we're the minority. They're pitching these shows. Most of the million people tuning in are just casual fans.
Yep.
So especially for AEW, where they skew more towards the hardcore fan, you have to educate. You have to, that 9-year-old kid who hears the term babyface or heel or kayfabe, this is the digital age, man. They're Googling that to figure out what it means if they don't know already. And then now they're smartened up a little bit into what is being told. And hopefully that draws them in a little tighter because they're like, oh, wait, all this is going on and I don't know about it. You know what I mean? So it's a smart thing to do. You can't ignore it. This isn't the 1980s where you can be completely kayfabe and completely in character. Yeah. The Undertaker today, I don't know that you could do the Undertaker the way he did.
You couldn't.
I mean, that man stayed in kayfabe, for 30 years.
Yeah, he wasn't Mark. He was the Undertaker.
Okay. Would Michael Jordan be Michael Jordan if he was living under today's scrutiny?
Yes.
I think he would. I think Michael Jordan's a
great ball player. Yeah. Absolutely great ball player.
He
right?
would definitely be.
But we would know every gamble. We would know every time he went out and took a shit. We would know.
He probably wouldn't do it as much. Yeah, true.
Yeah, every security guard that
above and beyond these 5 names in a Hall of Fame. Is there any other names in ROH history that you would probably tack on there for the next runner? Who do you think?
Chris Hero,
Claudio
Castagnoli, and Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah.
Nigel for
sure.
100. Yeah.
I put
what about
Kevin Steen?
No, what about the big guy that oh my God, he became the gym teacher and oh my God, he's always at Abyss. Wasn't Abyss a big guy in ROH for a while?
No, he was
Impact.
on TNA. It's TNA.
TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Impact. So there's
I gotta. I'm looking over these comments and I just seen something that just broke my heart. So I gotta say it.
good.
Jake Bagwell.
Yeah, I knew-
Brit is
Oh, yeah,
boring.
You're gonna get killed for that one,
Your
Britt's
fucking
far
face
from
is
boring.
Jake.
Jake Bagwell, we'll put you on a pole match.
Bagwell in a pole match.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, and you guys, you guys
EJ, I was gonna look at you and just say go. That's what I comment.
go over
Just go.
here, the idiot section, because I mean, let's call it out. Come on, man. Shit, I'm smarter than these guys, and I don't know nothing.
All right. Before I didn't wear my shit kickers here. Let's get into the last segment here. Our sixth senses. We're gonna talk a little celebrities in wrestling.
Yeah, they can move to this. Your soul, man, they can move to this. It's brand new. Open your eyes and realize it's the new guys. Y'all commit.
All right, my opinion, celebrities in pro wrestling, it's been there forever. It can be used. Sometimes it's overused or used too much. I'm not going to include those who did America the Beautiful or the national anthem or those who played theme songs. But let's take a look back at
Jake Bagwell is smoking crack. or
celebrity. He
something.
always does. He always
Yes,
does.
seriously.
So let's take
A
back
bag
the
of nails.
celebrities in professional wrestling. Of course, you got to start with WrestleMania 1, Mr. T.
I pity the fool who talks about Britt Baker in the next 30 minutes.
The first one was loaded. We talked about Cyndi Lauper earlier, Muhammad Ali, Liberace, and the damn Rockettes. I mean, they just piled on WrestleMania, made it one spectacle with dancers and
Did he say
timekeepers. What's that?
Did you say testicle?
Yeah, testicles. And even Billy Martin on the
From the
mic.
side.
And testicles from the side, yeah. So WrestleMania 1, they really stacked it. And we saw Hogan and Snuka back there sneaking on. And Mr. T do his thing in the first WrestleMania. Muhammad Ali, I guess he was the outside guy. Then WrestleMania 2,
Elvira.
we had little Elvira action. Here's a good one. Everyone remembers Ozzy.
Ozzy, yeah, whenever he was with the Bulldogs. he
Oh
was in
my
the corner.
God. Jesus, I'm just looking at the comments. Sorry.
And Al
Sorry.
Snow match is better than Britt Baker. Al Snow's a very good wrestler, too. I don't know what the hell this
Do you
dude.
guys remember Herb? You guys remember Herb
Hey,
from Burger King?
that's Herb.
From the Burger King
Hey,
commercial?
I think he went to college with my buddy Mitch. Mitch
That's
Cusky.
actually Herb Bagwell. That's Jake's dad.
Fuck me frontwards.
What else we got?
Hey, what does Ray's thing say?
WrestleMania 2 here. This is Ricky Schroeder and Tommy Lasorda. They just put people to do anything in
Ricky,
these early
hell is
matches.
Ricky
Ricky,
Schroeder?
he was the ring.
Silver
He used to
Spoons,
be on
man.
Silver Spoons, and he actually rang. He's the bell ringer. He's
The bell ringer.
Yeah, timekeeper. Excuse me.
Well, they had a bunch of those in
Hey,
judges.
hey
and then we had,
Blaze. Hey,
Yes.
Blaze. Can you pop us to just all 5 of us on the screen just for 2 seconds so Easy E can read my thing?
Yeah, please.
Wow. And you know what about his left testicle? It hangs from the side.
oh, the
From
from
the
the side
side.
joke will
It's
never
probably up
end.
the ass and to the left, too.
Oh,
Who's that?
Jesus.
Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah,
Oh, there
there's
was
the
so
big
many NFL
boys.
players. Yeah, there's a couple
It is-
NFL players in the Battle Royal. Bill Fralick was in it. Walter
Now-
Perry, Ed Too Tall Jones.
Let's see if you can get them all, because here's the list.
Oh shit.
was
Okay,
ready
never
for
mind
that.
now. All right.
Jim, I don't even know.
Jimbo
who
Covert.
Jimbo
He played
Covert.
for the Bears, I believe.
Ernie Holmes,
was a
Ernie
Steeler.
Holmes.
Ernie Holmes
Harvey
was a Steeler.
Martin.
Wait.
Martin was
They
a cowboy.
let Bruno throw out Fats Holmes. I didn't
Ernie
know
Holmes, is he
that.
related to
Danny
John?
Spivey. The
Mhm.
the Bees. And yeah, Russ Francis, I played for the Patriots, I believe. Yeah, they just piled them
Yeah.
in. The first couple WrestleManias were a lot about the celebrities.
William Perry, Bill Fralick from the Atlanta Falcons. It was kind of cool.
Alice Cooper in WrestleMania 3
Yes.
with a big snake. I got a
Good
snake,
old
man.
Hammerish Quinsley.
The best is listening to Jake the Snake talk about the snake, and he's like, I really fucking hated snakes.
Yeah.
Bob Uecker is in 3 and 4. I mean, I'd love to be choked out by Andre the Giant. Just
Just a bit outside.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
Bob Ford.
Jake Bagwell,
There he
you're
is.
just trying to get yourself over now,
You get
buddy.
to hang out with Vanna White too, so I can't complain about that. Robin Leach.
Yeah, let's go Falcons.
They just threw everybody up. Yeah,
Fuck off, E.
Falcons fans out there. Morton
Tomorrow,
Downey. I almost said Robert
that-
Downey Jr.
That was one of my favorite segments, dude. That
Didn't
was
he smoke a
awesome.
cigarette?
That was
right in there?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Piper put him in his place, and I loved every minute of it.
Now, I said I wasn't going to do like bands and stuff like that, but I did squeak one in there. This is WrestleMania 5, Run DMC, right in the ring. How about it?
Whose house? Run's house.
That's whose it was. Regis Philbin, along with good old Undertaker. And not Marky Mark, but Donnie Wahlberg. Wow.
I don't remember that.
WrestleMania
I love
10.
me
You don't
some
remember that? He was a ring
Wahlberg.
announcer.
The
Nah.
ring announcer there. WrestleMania 11, Lawrence Taylor against Bam Bam Bigelow.
What a man! What a man! What a man! What a man!
They,
That was
did
just
play,
amazing.
they played
Salt
the
and
theme song.
Pepper.
Salt and Pepper was there. That was
Yeah.
the artist that played. And Diesel had a whole bunch of stars here. He's got Jenny McCarthy. He's got Pam
Donnie
Anderson.
Wahlberg would know a little bit about Jenny.
What's that other dude? I forget the.
So did Shawn Michaels,
two or-
from what I heard.
Oh shit! I forget that
Jonathan
dude's name.
Something
Michael
Arturo
Johnson
or
something.
something.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Taylor Thomas.
Jonathan
There it
Taylor
is.
Thomas. There you go.
He was on here.
What?
He's still going, guys. He'd
Mike
rather
Tyson
spend-
with his big right hand beating up Shawn Michaels.
That
Look
at
how
the time was-
Michaels is tightened up his mouth, going, "Please God, don't botch this."
That at the time though was a true great use of a celebrity like.
Oh, yeah.
arrangement.
Yeah, see, that's
I
a
mean,
good
he
example.
was
Of using it good.
Yeah.
Then you have cameos from this guy a couple times, I believe, if I got it in order here. No, Butterbean first.
Oh, Butterbean. That's when he knocked out
Butterbean,
Bart Gunn.
WrestleMania 15.
He
He saw a
saw Bart-
recurring theme with good old Pete Rose, Charlie
Yep.
Hustle, Kane.
Who should be in the Hall of Fame?
14, 15, 2000, and 2004. He's in 4 different WrestleManias.
I
He's in
love when he
the,
dressed as the gobbledygooker.
there it is. He was in this.
Yeah.
He's in this Hall of Fame. He's in the celebrity wing.
He is in the celebrity wing.
He was the San Diego chicken there.
No, he was the gobbledygooker.
He was the San Diego chicken in the second
No,
one in
he was the
15.
gobbledygooker to me,
You were-
damn it.
Okay, you're the gobbledygooker. Then he got inducted into the Hall of Fame by Kane.
Jake Bagwell equals Vince Rude.
Hey, that's what Donald Trump accidentally shaved Vince's eyebrow.
He tried to
geez.
scalp him. Vince wasn't acting there. He was crying as our ex-president shoved a razor blade into his skull.
WrestleMania 23. He was blading.
He was
Hard way.
24, Kim
Hard way.
Kardashian.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Keep
Okay,
going.
I know why I put that one in there. 24, Mayweather.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there
That
for
was
that
an
one. huh?
entertaining one.
Yeah, that was in Orlando, right?
What are good examples of how you can
Yeah.
use celebrities and how not to. You can always use a Snoop Dogg in every WrestleMania.
Hey, I'll tell you what. You remember
I'll
when he
take
broke?
Snoop.
Whenever he busted open Big Show's nose right on Raw. Remember he did that like
Yeah,
1-2
that was-
punch in the corner.
Fantastic.
What did Snoop do on AEW? Didn't he do like a
He tried to do a
moonsault or
moonsault.
something.
Poor
and it was
excuse for
terrible.
a top rope splash.
Oh yeah, it was a
Yeah, the bent knees.
attempt at a splash.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, he didn't bend his knees. It was like straight leg. He looked like he just bunny hopped off the top rope and then
It looked like a corpse. If someone threw a corpse at you. That's how
Uh,
bad it was.
Mickey Rourke.
Yep. Randy
Mickey
the
Rourke.
Ram.
that was supposed to be so much more, and what it should have been would
25.
have been great.
Yep. Jericho. We have WrestleMania 27. They started loading it up again. Pee Wee Herman. Can't have a WrestleMania without Pee Wee Herman, right?
Yeah.
and
The word
Snooki,
of, the
of course, you got to give Snooki her share.
I'm
Listen.
okay with Snooki.
I was you know what? She actually impressed me. And like, she was another bad bunny. And the reason I say is that she did that
I mean,
the
it
back
is
flip
Jersey
into the
Day.
corner. She actually did really
Handspring.
well.
Yeah. There you go, Snooki. A little more Snoop Dogg because you can't get enough Snoop Dogg, like I said. He should be in everyone.
Holla,
Holla, holla, holla at the Snoop Dogg. Maria Menounos. I just like this pinning combination here for Maria Menounos.
I like Maria Menounos.
That's when she shit herself. Wait, isn't that when she shit herself?
I don't know.
You would
I didn't know
that,
she
isn't
shit
it?
her pants.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
if you go back and look,
Is there poop? Let's see. Is there poop somewhere? Hang on,
wait,
see poop.
she shit herself.
From the side.
From the side. See poop. Jesus. Shaquille O'Neal. He's been in more than one company now. Him and the Big Show.
Yeah,
They might-
his match on AEW, I thought was very good.
Gronk
I
was
thought
in
he was dead.
33
Look
and
at that.
36. He was in 2 of them.
The best thing that came out of Gronk's is the background videos of Vince jumping off that platform.
Yeah.
At 17.
True.
Here, I'll do it, you son of a bitch.
And then now
That's
we
good
get
shit.
Bad Friggin' Bunny, which I know he can do a couple wrestling moves, but I would rather
I thought he was impressive.
I
thought
would
he did a
rather
great
him
job.
do what Logan Paul did the first time. And when Logan Paul came out, got a stunner, and he was done. That was pretty much all he did. Put over the wrestler. That's my opinion. That's what
Yeah,
Bad
but Bunny
should
got
have
his
done
ass
last year.
kicked all through Raws. If you think about it, Miz and Morrison kind of beat up on him a little
He
bit,
should've
you know.
got-
So
I want his ass kicked more.
Here's my only issue. Like, I appreciate Bad Bunny being a huge fan, and he did actually train, and he committed to it for a while because it was pandemic and he could do it or whatever. But Bad Bunny being a celebrity, having no muscle mass to the point that they put him in sweatsuit so he didn't look like a beanpole
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
a
you gotta look
problem.
the
Like,
part
if
too,
it would have
yeah.
been Flo Rida, whenever they had him come in, or like 50 Cent or somebody that like
Much
at
bigger.
least legitimately looked like they could be a tough guy.
Poor 50. I feel
Yeah,
Johnny
bad
Knoxville's
people were
cut,
dogging
man.
him.
Look at him. He's ripped. Johnny Knoxville's huge. What are you talking about?
Johnny Knoxville in this match should get 0 offense, but they should just literally let Sami Zayn kick his ass for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
we all know that he can take
Agreed.
a beating better than anybody else. So that
True,
it's
and that's-
believable. It's believable that he wouldn't be able to be pinned. You know what I mean? That he could take the punishment.
Yeah.
But the offense thing, I mean,
Throw him
That's
around
where
the
you get
whole
into it.
arena. Just
Yeah.
toss him around the entire arena like, a
he
rag
should chuck
doll.
him off the second balcony or something like
Yeah,
that.
it
Food
should
shit.
something sick. And
Oh, you know damn well they got something huge planned for that.
Now
We'll
for
see
Logan
these,
Paul, it could be good. We know Paul's a boxer. You know,
A
he
bad
had the
one, but yeah.
yeah, but I'm just saying. So if he comes in and his moveset is primarily just brawling and throwing punches, because he's a tough dude, he looks like a tough guy. You've seen him in boxing matches. At
Yep.
least there's a little bit of believability there.
Agreed.
And he's a dick.
yeah,
So I mean,
he
like
gets
him
the
on the
heat,
mic is
natural
gonna be
heat.
great. I
You don't have to
really
say
hope that
anything.
his brother shows up and starts just fucking with.
I don't
people.
think it's heat. People just actually hate him.
Well,
Yeah, they don't like him. They don't like him.
yeah, that I want to see something happen.
Yeah, Joe cards in the crowd.
That's what I was gonna say. The Mysterio should come out dressed as Pikachu and Charizard.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, as long as it's used, I think sparingly. And
Who is this Jake Bagwell? He needs
Jake's
to
a
go
good
sit.
friend. I've seen he's been around.
He,
him for
he
years.
might not be after today.
He's famous for saying stupid things. Let me just say that.
Well, he succeeds.
I think he called Donald Trump the genetic jackhammer.
That's pretty
Yeah,
funny. I'm
Jake
not gonna
had
lie.
a-
I was
Hey, I'm gonna
snickering
get,
at that one.
I'm gonna change
Cheers
my
to you,
I'm gonna
Jake.
change my name just for that.
Jake is always throwing out some good stuff. So we
He
talked
can't,
about
he can't be serious.
no, what's coming soon, and we got Revolution March 6th, Crockett Cup the 19th and the 20th. They said that there was over 100 tag teams that signed up, and now they still have a couple extra spots that they're gonna wait to announce for some of the
100
play-ins.
spots. That'll take like 4 weeks to do a tournament. They did already.
They didn't take all 100. Listen, they had 100 applications. They put it out for anybody to join, even if you're like you and Doc, your tag team. I think was
Why the hell
signed up.
did we do that, Doc?
I signed you guys up. You didn't make it though. We
Yeah, fuck
got
that.
Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor, April 1st, and WrestleMania, April 2nd and 3rd.
Wait, can I address the elephant in the room that that guy right there is talking about why didn't we sign up, Doc, as he shoves McDonald's in his fucking face. We should have been in the tag team battle royal. I can hear your cholesterol raising from here.
I literally worked all day.
That's why I was late. We went to dinner and the waitress was stupid. I was like, "Can I get my check, please?" And finally, I was like, "If you don't give me my check in 8 seconds, I'm leaving."
So that's all I have for you folks.
That's all you
It was a
got.
great show. Good
I
show.
don't know if Doc, you have anything to plug while we're heading out here?
You know, I don't have any. There's no shows. No, nothing.
No shows
So
to
we're all
Not
good
until
for this. You know,
mid-March.
RWA and I'll even say it. IWC both had great shows last weekend though. So
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was good.
both locker rooms tore it up. It was really cool to see the return of Shane Taylor at RWA, and he just bitch punches Ryan Edmonds at the end of the match. It was one of the greatest things. And you know what? I am going to send Blaze a shot of this because you all have to see the video memes that are being made because of Shane Taylor just bitching our heavyweight champion Ryan Edmonds.
Week 2, no interview from Doc. Oh, no quick interview
fuck
from Doc
my
for
life.
2 weeks in a row now.
Can you like message me and just remind me to do this? Because it's not like I have nothing to do when I'm fucking there.
Yeah,
I just
no.
commentate, do interviews for the. But you know,
It's only the one thing I've ever asked for you in our entire lives, Doc. Literally,
He's never asked
yeah,
me
well, I've
either.
asked it from the
never asked
side,
you.
and I don't
He
get
hasn't
that
asked
either.
me, and it would have got done.
You know what?
From the side.
You know what? Blaze, I got this.
You're gonna get an interview next week.
We'll have an interview for you.
Just send a video, and we can play the video.
I got
So
it.
the big question is Cody Rhodes, Wyndham, or Veer? Who's coming first, and who's coming from the side?
Veer's got some build up. I feel bad for whoever.
So we got a lot of question marks out there in the wrestling world. We're gonna have some fun with it. But for all you dirty minds, go take a shower here.
Zestfully clean. Zestfully clean. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Rely on something wimpy or something hefty.
Hefty.
Wimpy.
Why the
Wimpy bags
fuck
are fine for wimpy
are we
jobs,
doing
but don't
a
send one to
hefty
do a
ad?
hefty job. When the pressure's on, hefty stretches where wimpy bags break.
Oh, quantum commercial.
Why?
Why not?
Boys, breaking news. We've talked about this a few times on the show. I thought that the first defection from AEW would not be Cody Rhodes. I thought it would be Brian Cage, as he is openly bitched about, well, his wife at least has openly bitched about him. AEW has just picked up Brian Cage's option for the next 2 years.
There you go.
Bitch, you ain't going nowheres.
Now they got to use them somehow. And we'll see the juggling act in AEW. We talked about that at the start of the show. And big shows coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So peace and positive vibes, everybody out there. We'll see you next week with our Revolution preview and much more. WrestleMania season is here, folks.
She said I'm cute.
No.